Hi guys, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Natasha.
And we were wondering,
are you free for coffee?
Welcome, welcome.
Ooh,
we have a good episode.
This is
today.
A good one. I have opinions.
Big opinions. Okay. You guys have probably seen this, heard about this. Eboni K. Williams. And if you don't know her, she was a Real Housewife of New York back in the day. I don't watch that franchise, but I know some of y'all love it. So you know her if you watch that. And then she's not on it anymore, but she is an attorney and she has hosted or co-hosted several talk shows and news programs. She's still on, I want to say maybe BET or the Griot or something.
I think so.
You've seen her if you might not know her name, but you have seen her. But Iyanla Vanzant, I always mess up her name.
I do too. Okay. I love her and can't get it
Miss
right.
Miss Vanzant.
Yes, there we go.
They did a little kind of interview type thing. We're talking about dating and basically dating and your qualifications, your list and all that for dating. So Iyanla asked Eboni if she would date a bus driver.
Yes.
And she stated that she would if he owned the bus or the bus company.
The bus company, yeah.
So there was a whole big uproar about that. And her rationale to it was that she was interested in building generational wealth. And so I guess she felt that the person that she was with or a partner needed to already be on the way to that.
Right.
I guess versus, starting out. Now, let me qualify that because we talked about this a couple seasons ago. Yes. Eboni is 40 years old. So I kind of get that of not, at a certain age, you don't get with potential. You just don't. And at my age, for sure, not potential. And she's younger than me, way younger. Because we don't have time. I don't have time for you to develop your potential.
Right.
So you already have to have it. Now, when you're in your 20s or even early 30s, you can, it's like stock.
Right.
You buy low and sell high.
Yes.
I mean, you see somebody, now he's something. He's going to go places. And that's what you go for. As you age, you just really can't do that because we all have potential. The graveyard is full of potential that was never realized.
Right.
So at a certain point, you can't really do potential. So I do understand that. I do. And nobody has to really qualify what you want. I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you want. I do understand having or wanting someone that's on your intellectual level.
Right.
And I feel like that.
Oh,
you want to be able to talk to someone. You want to be able to share ideas and thoughts. And that she didn't say that, but I'm trying to justify what she said. Also, maybe she wants another attorney there's people like that.
Right.
There's physicians that marry physicians.
But then you kind of just want to say that. Like, I'd rather marry someone.
And I get that because, if she marries someone that's not an attorney, even if he had money, if she likes to kick legal ideas around with somebody, he's not going to be able to do that.
Right.
So all these things I get, and they don't have to be quantified. But anyway, Iyanla later on, she listened to her and then she had her own little take on it. And she was saying like, look, if you're a bus driver who loves and takes care of his mama, you take care of any children you have, you're a good guy. You take care of me.
Right.
You're just a decent human being. I would date you. Like that's not a problem for me. Also, at a certain age too, what you're looking for is different. You might have money. You might not need his money. That might not be an issue. You just want somebody who's there for you emotionally and physically and some other things.
Right.
So
support you in other aspects.
I mean, you have to be clear on your wants and needs. But I think the thing Eboni was so flippant when she said it and kind of curt, and it just came off really wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much what she said, it was how she said it.
Well, and then I'm going to say this too. This is you assuming you know what bus drivers make.
Right.
You're assuming that you know. And of course, for me, if you know me personally, you know that my father-in-law, he could retire any day he wants to. He's worked for Dallas Area Rapid Transit, which is our bus system in Dallas, Texas, for 34 years. And I know enough about his life. I'm not going to go into super detail, but I know enough about his life. They do pretty damn well. So I could kind of see where you're like, oh, excuse you, because it was the assumption.
Say, I need a number. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, are we wanting a certain number? Right. But then I thought about we've all heard these stories that come on the news of a school teacher or a janitor that dies and leaves millions of dollars to some cause they're passionate about, the alma mater, something. And you think, how in the world? So because you don't know what people...
Because it's not what you make, it's how you spend it.
Right. And also, there's people that are stock whizzes and different things. They take that little bit and do stuff with it.
Yes.
So you can't... That's another thing you can't really quantify.
That is one facet of who they are. That's one morsel.
Well, that's their seed money. It's like they use that and then use it to build. And these people, they're quiet. It's like the millionaire next door. Yes. You don't know anything. They're just normal looking folks, but they die and it comes on the news. You said so-and-so left $10 million to something you think,
and you're like, what? Or they put 7 kids through college.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, what?
So that's I thought about that. Yeah. I thought, well, you don't really know what he does with his money or how much he has.
Right.
He might really just like being a bus driver and he had an inheritance or anything can happen. Life is so...
I'm going to tell you, that's definitely my father-in-law. He's had every offer you could imagine. And he's like, no, I enjoy what I do. And he could retire if he wanted to now. He's fine. That's what he likes to do.
But preface that to say, just like I told you, she was a real housewife. So you know.
There's art, yeah.
There's
if you know, you know.
Right. So really it was the way she said it. It was kind of just snarky and her being a lawyer,
it was like you're looking down your nose at people.
Word that a little better.
I would hope.
You could just word that a little better. It came off really...
Wordplay. It's a part of your job.
Classes,
It
maybe.
did. It did.
And I don't really know.
So I went back and watched it. Like, after you told me about it. Because, God, we've been talking about this amongst ourselves for probably a month now. So I went back and watched it, and I was just like, oh. It was how she said it.
It was. Because my justification, because I kind of got right away just, it just hit me wrong. But then I did get to thinking, okay, and your list is your list.
Yes.
And if you need somebody that ticks certain boxes, I mean, that's okay. She doesn't have to justify that to anybody.
That's right.
So in fairness to her, okay, that's what you need.
Right.
But you can say what you need a little...
And not be ugly about
nicer.
it. Yeah.
But so that was my thing about it. So it was kind of ugly. I felt Iyanla's response was really good. She was saying she would date somebody like that in a New York minute. She didn't have a problem. And you know what made me think about? Kris Jenner.
Yes.
I thought about her and Corey. Yes. And they've been together a while now.
Yeah.
But her needs are like way different.
Yes.
So what she needs from a partner
is not necessarily money.
Else. She has generational wealth that she created. So she doesn't need that.
Kudos to her for creating
But
that.
she needs a partner. And somebody who's
affection
there for her.
And someone who adores her, someone who protects her.
Right.
And so
And she did reference that because he used to be like a head of security for Justin
security
Bieber
detail.
And different celebrities. So she said she really trusts him with that. He takes care of all those types of logistics for them, for their family. So, and she loves that. So I was thinking about her, like, what if she was just real? I'm not going to be, which he does own a security. So maybe that's the difference.
Well, but still, I mean, now we're going to be honest. That's not, they're probably not making the same thing, but that's not what she was looking for.
And age too, because he hasn't had time to acquire that. He might.
Yes.
I mean,
you're right.
She's 20, 25 something years older than him.
Yeah.
So given that amount of time, he could get there.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying about a certain age. I don't have time for you to get there. Me personally.
Yeah.
You know, like if you need 20 years to build your career and do your thing.
I'm not
going to be around for that. So I'm just not down for that. Not in a mean way. You'll get there. It's not being, I believe that you're going to do it, but I don't have time to do it.
It goes again to the checklist.
Right.
Your checklist is your checklist. For her, maybe the checklist had to do with money. Maybe it did. So if that's your checklist.
Well, that's what it sounded like.
Well, that is what it sounded like. So that's your thing. But you do have to realize that sometimes there's a give and a take.
I'm just thinking, how could she have worded that? Do you think it's the blue collar thing?
That's what it was. Come on.
Okay.
When I saw her little, I was like,
well, I guess she.
She worded it like she worded it. And if you miss your blessing, you miss your blessing.
But was there a way to say it differently? Like, how could you have said that if that's what you want?
I think you could have said that at this stage in life,
in public. Now she could talk like that to
whoever she wants
to her crew.
Yeah.
But
I feel like she could have said
in public with somebody.
Yeah. Well, in this stage of life, I'm looking for someone that is already established like I am, so that we can begin a life together that starts at, and then, insert whatever it is. I'm already established, so maybe I want someone who they're established and we can vacation together. We can travel the world together. Because what if I don't want someone that wakes up and has to clock in 5 days a week? That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. For a long season of my life, I didn't have to wake up and clock in.
If you own your business,
right,
you have that flexibility.
Right. And so that could have been it. There are multiple ways that could have been worded where it didn't sound like, well, only if they own it. Because guess what? If they own it, they may go to work every day then too.
And you never own it. Let's face it, you guys. You pay taxes.
Yes,
we talk about this all the time.
Listen, I own a business, and trust me.
Your house could be paid for.
Yeah.
And we talked about this on the podcast.
Yes.
Recently, an elderly woman that had owned her home for years
that was
got
terrible.
Put out of her house.
Her house that she owned, y'all. Owned.
And it wasn't even a lot.
Taxes. Her taxes.
It wasn't much.
I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and they were, I'm not going to say the number, but they were telling me I put this much aside every month for taxes because they live in a new community. So it hasn't been, I guess, not appraised or whatever the word is yet. They don't know what
they don't have any comps yet.
They don't know yet.
Okay.
And so they were like, look, people lose their paid off house behind taxes, and I refuse. Yeah. And so they put aside, when the person told me the amount, I was like, my gosh. But they were like, I don't know what it's going to be. And I just thought, you can own. Y'all have the deed. Do you understand me? Own. Not like, oh, we're financing. No, it's paid off and you can still lose it. Yeah. So you're right.
You don't really own things.
A whole bunch.
So it just, I don't know, Ebony. And I like Ebony. I was kind of disappointed in it. I was disappointed in how, she was trying to be funny, kind of, sort of. But it just didn't come off.
It was a Mean Girls funny.
It just came off so wrong.
Well, I'm going to say this.
And she's alone.
Yes. And I'm happy for the balance of Miss Vanzant so that you get to look at it from another angle. Because she was like, honey, if you good to your mama, you take care of your business, I would date you in a New York man. And it's like, yeah, because I think
that can't be I'm not saying that this is not a qualifier. I'm not saying that it's not important if that's what you want. The intellectual stimulus, the finances, the whatever. But they should not come first. Because you can have all that and he can whoop your ass every day.
That's it.
Or you can have all that and he is not a good dad.
And have we not seen this?
Oh,
we've seen this
every day. We know this. We know people.
And I think that's what made me just,
I think so too.
Because I was like, that's the qualifier. That's it.
Right.
Not someone who can be nurturing or someone who's encouraging, or when you're feeling down, this person has the ability to always lift you up. You talking about owning a company. Okay. He can own a company and go sleep with every single one of his employees.
Right. not
bring
be
you home, all kind of
faithful.
stuff. But you got what you wanted. He owns it. You see what I'm saying? It was just it was just an ugly way to say it. I wasn't
It was
with
just
it.
shallow. It was
It was
shallow.
so shallow.
And
to be her
and kind
age, your list should be better than that. Now I'm
Right.
just gonna say it because she's older than I am.
Oh yeah, and kind of dismissive and dumb on her part.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking at some point, nice
Yeah.
should be number one.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Can I live with you in the house
Right.
every single day?
So those are my
Yeah.
questions. Okay, he's a bus driver. Okay, well, like Iyanla said, does he take care of his mom? Does he
Yeah.
have kids and take
Yeah.
care of them? Does
Yes.
he all these other quantifiers? Okay, well, those things
'Cause, honey,
should come first.
I know some folks that make good money, but let me tell you,
Because
they're not good to
now
their
let's
kids.
face
They're
it,
not
we
good.
all have lists.
Yeah.
We all have
qualifiers.
We do.
Yes, we do.
But you're not going to get 100% of the list.
No.
I hate to tell you this. You're not.
And
so if you have to trade,
yes.
If I have to trade the bus driver for he's kind.
Yeah.
Or you know, some things might just be I've got to have this. This is a non-negotiable, and that's okay. You know, find your 2 or 3 non-negotiables. But some of the other stuff, you kind of have to give.
Do you know what this makes me think of? Your girl on Sex Life. Does this not kind of make you think of her and Coop, where you traded something that really was a non-negotiable? You told yourself, "Oh, I got hurt. They need to have. I just want the Coop
just
made the money.
nice.
Now Coop was my cup of tea. But Coop was nice. He made the money.
But Coop was boring.
But he was boring, and so you got what you wanted, and it still wasn't good enough. And it still wasn't good enough.
Yes.
So yeah.
But I guess maybe that's what she's saying. Like I need that. I listened to the whole thing, but they didn't really get into what I wanted to know. Like, what
are you looking for?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, what do you really need?
Yeah.
Is it, what gets you going? Is it the intellectual stimulus? Is it the this and that? And there might be a bus driver that is your intellectual equal.
Absolutely.
I mean, stranger things have happened.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. I never say never, because as soon as I do,
the reality
then there's somebody,
you could be
a Harvard educated bus driver. I mean, that can happen.
And do you know what? I'm going to put it out there. It happens.
All the time.
Because some people do what they like to do. And it honestly is not about the money for them. Because again, you don't know what their finances look like. You just assume. Assume. Because I know a bus driver, not my father-in-law, but I do know someone who also works for DART, paid cash for their house. Cash.
Yeah.
And had money left over to still buy furniture. Well, not many people can say, I went and bought a $300,000 house cash.
She wants them to own the thing. But just as a reference, an old neighbor
but you can own it and be broke.
Was a banker, very prestigious, at a prestigious company. And he had a little side gig of pouring concrete with his friend. Okay. Which is not, glamorous in any way.
No, it's very blue collar.
Right. But the housing market kind of took off and their business just exploded. So he wasn't a banker anymore, and he was the concrete guy.
Yeah.
But of course he had people working for him. He did own the company, in fairness to Ebony. Yeah. So, but I'm saying
But at one point he was out there in a white t-shirt doing it with him.
Right. It wasn't a fancy job. It didn't sound, whatever, but he had a lot of money. Yeah. So I don't know. You just have to be open. I think you just have to be open to what life brings you. And I think for me, and I do understand what she's saying. I really do. But I think she's missing out on some good stuff.
Yes.
Just by saying it.
Yes.
Just by saying it. You're just like closing doors to good people, nice people. And maybe they're not your partner or spouse, but you're still eliminating
you may be missing out on some of the best relationships you may ever forge.
I think so.
And I'm a weird one. I like being at home. I really am an introvert. People love me, so people assume I'm an extrovert. But one thing I will do, if I see someone in their yard and I'm in a neighborhood that I like, I'll get out and I'll speak to them. Like from a distance, guys. I don't want to be kidnapped, but I mean, I will. And I've had 2 occasions If you guys, you can Google Lakewood. It's near White Rock Lake, and I love the area. I get out, I see a young lady. She has a kid about my son's age in the yard, and she's just out piddling, as sometimes we do. And I thought, well, if you got time to piddle in the middle of the day, I want to talk to you. So I get out, start talking to her. She happens to be an African American lady, and she's telling me how they were living check to check. They were worried about how they were going to pay their rent in their apartment. She pulled her retirement. I forgot where she said she worked, but she was like, we need this. Like, we got to pay rent and there'll be a little bit left. So she pulled her retirement. She said, it's not that much anyway. It was maybe $6,000. And she was like, babe, she tells her husband, I think I'm going to try this drop shipping thing. And he's like, what the hell is drop shipping? And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is drop shipping? Like, you hear it, but I don't know what it is. So she does all this research on her own, guys, just research. And she said sometimes she take her kids to the library for entertainment. She's using their Wi-Fi. She researched top selling items. She purchased them. She started a drop shipping business. And before you knew it, they lived in this big, beautiful house.
Wow.
And this was recent. This has been in the last 4 months. I got out and was like, I'm sorry, but I love this area. And I want to know, number one, do you like it? And number two, what do you do? Because I'm looking at this woman who seems very average. Turns out she has a baby the exact same age as Eloise, who y'all have heard in the background and seen in pictures on our Instagram. And it was fascinating to me. But I bring that up to say, if you're looking for someone that, quote unquote, well, they have to own it, they have to do this, they have to do that, you're missing out on gems. And you're even missing out on money. Spoiler alert, you can own something and not have a good return on investment. You may be bad with taxes and your name may be on it, but you may not have any money.
People every day that, well, I thought of, what's her name? Elizabeth Holmes, the one that's in jail now.
Girl.
And I watched the thing and I thought, I could see where you would think that would work.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, she honestly thought it was going to work. And I was thinking, oh yeah, I could see that.
I could see this.
And it didn't.
And it did not.
So anything can happen. Anything can happen. But Eboni, we wish you well. And I hope you get everything on your list. But just be a little nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Just be a little nicer. We love bus drivers.
Just in how you say it.
Bus drivers.
Look, I love people that are willing to work. Now I'm just going to tell you the truth. This day and age.
I just want you to be nice.
Yeah.
Nice matters.
Kindness matters. Yes.
Up next, our picks for the sexiest man alive this week. But first, a message from our...
During hard times, it can get really difficult if you don't have anyone to talk to. Being alone with your thoughts can be an isolating feeling that can allow negativity to consume you.
This is why we are sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. You just fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with the therapist in under 48 hours.
Then you schedule secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you can exchange unlimited messages, and everything you share is completely confidential. You can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime.
Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. So many people use BetterHelp that they are currently recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states.
Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/free-for-coffee. That's betterhelp.com/free-for-coffee. Sponsor.
Okay. Who do you have this week for your
I don't think I've picked him before, but I'm picking Andrew Zimmern, who is a chef. And the reason I'm picking him, because you guys know TV sucks during the summer. There's
for those of y'all that
on.
watch it.
I'm a boomer. I love TV. But so I've been streaming Family Dinner on Magnolia Network, which that's his show. That's his new show. He used to do bizarre foods, eat all kind of weird stuff.
Oh, yeah, he did. I forgot about that.
That was his thing. But now it's Family Dinner is the one I've been watching. And it's so good, you guys. He travels the country. he stays in the United States with this one, but just all parts of the country, people of different ethnicities, different walks of life. And they just, they do their family recipes.
Right.
And then he comes in,
and
of
he
course
gets
he
to
does
sit
a little
down with
something.
them. Yeah.
It is so entertaining. The
That's
people are
cool.
and he is such a cutie and so dang sweet.
Yeah, and he has the wholesome. He's winning me over with the wholesome factor too.
He is. And if you guys did not know, he had been homeless for a year due to addiction.
Which I did not know.
So he has a fascinating story. We love second chances.
We do.
So I just love that about him, which I think is what makes him nice.
Probably.
When you've been through things,
baby, when you've been through something.
You are just a little different.
Yes,
you're just different.
Yes, that's true.
And kind, and he's just
and there's
so
things they don't
sweet.
take for granted.
Age appropriate. I'm
Look
back
at you
in my
back in your lane.
Back in my lane. Kind of nerdy. Kind of my type.
That's kind of your type. Yeah.
Although I've never, I never seem to have anyone that cooks. So this would be a good change for you. Way. I wouldn't even know how to act.
Look, you're cooking,
right?
Oh, okay.
What does that? I have some friends whose husbands cook, and it's like I just don't even understand that.
My husband cooks, and I'm so glad. I cook too, but
that's amazing. Though.
But I can pass the ball off, and I love it.
I could get used to it though.
She's like, a girl could get used to this,
right? Especially a good cook.
Yeah. I'm going to do redemption based. I actually just switched, guys, just in my brain. But I'm going to do redemption based. Also, someone who almost lost everything due to addiction. Robert Downey Jr. I don't think I've picked him before.
He did. No, we haven't picked him.
But I love me some Robert Downey Jr.
He's so handsome.
I know someone that's met him and they were like, he's not.
He's got
what you would think.
He's got a show. And I haven't seen it.
Does it?
I think it's like a documentary about his dad.
Oh, I could see that. Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
I want to say, we'll have to watch that now.
Yeah, guys, she said TV's boring in the summer. I don't watch anything unless Lisa's like, watch this.
She doesn't know.
So I'm like, is it boring?
It is, because there's
like nothing
all
on.
The network stuff is done.
Guys, everything I watch has been out for like 7 years and I'm just catching up.
So streaming has to be it. And it's kind of
dry.
It's few and far between.
Okay.
That something will come out and we, like Bridgerton, we suck it up and it's gone.
Ooh, speaking of which, they just dropped the new.
Did y'all see?
And I told you they were going to be cute together.
Penelope.
Baby.
They did something with her hair.
What's my husband say? She got them thanging.
She came up out of that orange and yellow. Thank you, Jesus.
And come on, it was written that way.
I mean, I know.
Because now she got a little.
Because she's cute in real life.
She is.
But I didn't know what they could do with her.
Them kid dresses. I hated those kid dresses.
Colin, though. They did
you
something
just don't want him. You're a hater.
I don't
you know what though? You wouldn't fill in the Viscount. Then the Viscount knocked your damn socks off.
That's true.
I'm rooting for you guys.
But I'm gonna have the Viscount second time with this number 3. They say he's coming back.
He's gonna be good.
Yeah,
he's gonna be good. Okay, loves. Thank you for pulling up a chair and joining us for coffee. Please subscribe to Are You Free for Coffee podcast wherever you are listening. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode and find joy in the little things. Until next time.
Part of the Boundless Audio Podcast Network.